All right. Welcome to the third episode of the Great Bogey Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Zeich. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Check out our tags here and below. Great Bogey Pod on X, Great Bogey Podcast on YouTube. We have our first special guest, very special guest, Jon Grantham here. As you can tell from his header, he is a delusional scratch golfer. And we're just here to talk golf. We've got some, topics here that we're going to cover, go through, some serious, mostly not. We're going to talk about what's in our bags, live in the OWGR, winter golf in Colorado, and so on. So, Jon, why don't you give yourself your own introduction here on who you are? Maybe you're not a delusional scratch golfer, but let us know who we're talking to here.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely met you, Cam, through work, but yeah, I think, I've been playing golf since I was 2 years old. I didn't play, conventional, like the conventional route to get good at golf, where you play high school golf, you play junior golf, stuff like that. I played with my dad and all of his drunk buddies, so I learned everything through them. And then around COVID time, I started taking golf more seriously after a couple injuries. Went from probably like a 15 handicap down to a +3 in 2 years. And then the delusional part comes in, where I tried to go play some mini tour golf and had some rude awakenings to what good golf actually is. So it's kind of where I'm
Okay.
at now. So, yeah.
So the first thing that you said there that really shocked me was 15 to a
Yeah.
+2.
Yeah. I mean, in
Well,
all 2 years. Yeah. So,
that's
yeah.
I think anybody who's going to listen to this is going to say that's incredible, and they're probably going to call you a BSer. I'll be honest with you. I'm
Yeah.
shocked. A 15 to a 2 +2.
Well, if you think about it, it was COVID. I got fired the March of COVID, and I just
Like
started
when
getting.
everything shut down, they're just like, you're gone, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So I started taking all the unemployment I could get. I lived close to this par 3 golf course where no one was allowed to go, and I just walked on, and they kept the flags up even while they weren't maintaining the course or anything, and I just went there every single day. And since it was March when it happened, I could just park my truck, turn the headlights on, and then practice through the night too. So it's
So
kind
you
of what
just
I
lived
did.
on that course. You just
Yeah,
lived there.
yeah. And then I started getting a little bit more bold with sneaking on courses and stuff to get practice in. And I did it today. I go to my local home course, Aurora Hills, and I just go to the 13th hole, walk on in between groups, and get some practice in. So it's just people are lazy. It's an easy game. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Super
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
All right, so maybe for your header too, instead of delusional scratch golfer, you can put like criminal trespasser as well.
yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still haven't gotten
That
caught, so we'll see.
that's shocking to hear that jump. Like, yeah, 2 years, I get it. There's a lot of time, but you must have just been 24/7, 365 for those 2 years.
Oh yeah, I was obsessive to
Was
say.
it just self taught, just self learning, just self figuring it out? Did you watch YouTube? Did you get a lesson or two?
Yeah, I definitely went through YouTube videos like crazy. I've seen probably every single, you know, how to from pros. I don't like watching how to swing videos from people who aren't on tour because it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense in my head. But like I've seen, one that I really took a lot from was Rory's um, for his wedge game, and then obviously the Golf Digest Tiger Series came out, and that was just like a gold mine for me during that time. So, but yeah, most of it I did have one lesson when I got down to like a 3 handicap. I started like plateauing, kind of felt like there was something going on where I could definitely be more efficient with my swing. And that's when I learned how to swing with my lower body, and that kind of just changed everything. So um, that's all he kind of taught me was just you need to get your legs more involved. He tried to teach me the George Gankis method, where you like push your knees out, squat, and turn. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, that was the only lesson. Other than that, kind of just like the most obsessive, probably unhealthy practice in the world. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just forgetting to eat and shower and do all your normal stuff that you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, and those,
Well, it worked out because before this, as we're just kind of catching up and everything. Yeah, you made the joke that you're the best golfer I know. He's one of them. I played with John a few times, uh, and it's shocking to hear that you went from a 15 to 2 just based off the few rounds we played. Like it seems like you just kind of have well, you still probably have a natural ability to do it. You just worked really hard to fine tune it, right? So impressive. I'm interested to see what people say about that. Um, because the people I know in the golf world and people that I interact with, they're pessimists, right? And they don't believe things. Like we'll see. We'll see what it is. I'm excited to get this out into the world and see what they've got to say. So 15 to a +2 in
mhm.
2 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool. What
What's your handicap, Cam?
I think it's at 11.4 right now. We'll just call it 11.
Sandbagger.
I I have my moments,
Yeah.
both good and bad. Both good and bad, right?
Yeah.
I'll hit some great shots, and then I just completely negate those great shots
Yeah.
right away.
I think it's because you have too
Uh,
many Scotty Camerons. You don't know which one to take out on the course each time. Yeah.
I've only got 3 now.
Oh,
Uh, only got 3, and I'm using, and I guess we can transition a little bit into the next topic here. I'm using my Terillium Newport 2 right now. Uh, it looks great. It's a great looking putter. And B, I feel like my speed control is way better than with the Phantom X5 that I had.
okay. I think that's the
I'm
one you
not.
played with me that you had in play when we.
Yeah, I think when I played with you at the Pinery, that was like my first or second round with it.
Okay. Tough course to
Um,
start on with it. So.
yeah, I mean, I was just happy to be there at that point, right? I was like, cool, yeah, let's go play golf. It's 5 minutes from my house. What my problem on the greens is? My problem on the greens is just reading them correctly, and then when I don't feel confident in the read, the speed just goes. It's not there, right? Because you're like, I don't even know where this ball's going, so I don't even know how hard to hit it.
Yeah.
Um, I do find that I've gotten better at reading greens.
What's your
Um,
process? Like, what do you look for most? I mean, when you're reading a putt, like a 20-footer, what are you looking for?
yeah, I look for, where it's going to break, like what kind of direction I use. I try and envision like somebody's pouring a bucket of water over like my intended line, like
Mm,
not like a big bucket, like it's a lot of water, and
mm,
see where that kind of direction takes when it comes out to the end, right? I may have picked that up from like playing Tiger Woods golf on Xbox and when I was 15,
yeah.
using the grid lines.
Yeah.
Um, and then really speed just comes with like practicing on the putting green beforehand and hope that, you know, it's similar to the 18 holes we're about to play,
I mean,
which
when you're trying
sometimes
to
it
get,
is. Sometimes.
yeah, exactly. And like when you're trying to get speed before a round, I mean, are you putting to a cup? Are you trying to make them? Or do you like putt
Yeah,
to?
yeah. So when I practice putting, I typically don't go outside like 15 feet unless I'm like looking to go to the other side of the putting green to go try another hole that has maybe a little bit more break than where I'm at.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't necessarily go and just hammer 30 footers on the practice putting green. It's more like 15 and in. Trying to make them, not necessarily like what's the speed. Okay, then now let's try to make them.
Yeah. I mean, I heard something, I don't remember which player it was, but the only putts that he does pre-round are ones that, he's really comfortable making. So it's pretty much the only time he's putting to a cup really is 5 foot and in because you just want to get in the habit of making them, like just
Making
feeling
them.
the ball go in the hole. And then the rest of it's just like, let's do some long ones, like just to get the speed down and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
give that a shot and see how it goes.
Yeah, and when I'm practicing, especially like when we're like in prime season, everything's in great shape. I'm like, all right, I know that I'm going to shave like 3-4 strokes off my round if I can make 3-4 more 5-footers, right?
Mm,
Like, because if I leave a putt short, it's most likely going to be in that range. If I hammer it by the hole, it's most likely going to be in that range. So
exactly.
I do put a little bit more focus on those length of putts, like let's say 4 to 7 feet,
Mhm.
because I have a lot of them in my rounds.
Yeah.
But very rarely am I sub 30 putts in an
Okay.
18 hole.
Yeah, we can get you under 30 at least a couple times this year for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
So
once you get
putting's a big thing. Um, and when I started being able to control my driver and not lose balls off the tee every other hole, um, that brought me from shooting high 90s every time to really now probably like high 80s. I think my scoring average last year was like 88.
yeah. That's kind of what I would say your game is, like a 15. Like on a tough course, like you're probably shooting 86, 87. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just from what I've seen in your game.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna find out on tough courses here coming up. When I go to Pinehurst this year. So
yeah,
I said to myself, if I break 95, I'll consider it a success on number two. So
yeah, no kidding.
um,
So you playing
yeah,
all of them? Are you playing? Are you just playing number two?
no, we play 2, 4, 8, 10, and then one of our choosing. We're gonna try and upgrade the fifth round. We're gonna try and upgrade to play 2 or 10 again. So 10 hasn't been open. It opens in April.
Yeah.
It's their newest course. I
Oh,
did a there's a sweet video on YouTube. It's just music and it's like their official like flyover video of all their holes. Oh, it's incredible.
I'll have to check that out. Because yeah, I
Yeah, I'll
heard about
send it
that
to you.
as well. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, we can talk about Pinehurst, a little bit later here. We got a few topics to get through, but so we'll start what's in my bag. So I've got the Terillium putter, Newport 2. I've got a TSI 2 driver. I believe it's 9 degrees set to like just under 9.8. I was fitted for it. Um, the irons are the 21 Apex, just kind of like I think the standard, not the pros or anything, and not
okay,
um, the game. Like they're probably considered game improvement, but I'm not really sure. I'll be honest with you.
I think so.
Those I'm those
They're
I'm
not
fitted
cavity
for.
packs. They're not cavity
What?
packs, right?
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So those I'm fitted for as well. I like those a lot. They look good, as you're standing over the ball. There's not much like offset going on, which I don't know much about clubs and club building and the makeup of them.
Mhm.
I just went in, hit like 8 different sets at that time, and I was there. He's like, "You hit the Apex the best." I'm like, "Okay, there it is." I've always liked Callaway too. I don't know why, um, but yeah, I got those for the irons, and then I have Callaway Jaws 54 and a 58, and then you're gonna get a kick out of this. I've got a Wilson Trouble Wedge 64 degree that came with my first set of golf
64.
clubs. It's 64 degrees, and when I'm in like a bunker and it's nice and fluffy, and like I got to get the ball up, or I gotta get out of the bunker. It's steep, lip in front of me.
Uh,
That's the go-to, dude.
yeah. I mean, you barely have to open it. Like you, I mean,
Right.
you
You just take a
yeah.
swing and it's like
Yeah.
30 feet in the air already. Yeah.
So full
Um,
swing. What do you hit that thing?
I don't hit it. I don't hit it if I'm not in the bunker.
Okay.
That's like it's labeled trouble wedge, and I use it like it's a trouble wedge. Like if I'm in a bunker that I gotta get elevated, I'll maybe try and chip with it. Like if I wanna maybe like pop it up a little bit and let it roll out a little and
Yeah.
try and have a little bit more touch, then I'll use it. But that's very rare. I typically go to the 54 around the greens.
Interesting. Because I'm the exact opposite. I mean, I use my 60 full swing. I mean, I don't go like 100% to get to my full swing number, which is usually like 85, 90 yards. But I mean, I use my 60 for almost all pitches, unless it's windy or there's like I got to chase it back there, then I'll use like a 52, something like
Hmm.
that. But I mean, like every single chip um, is pretty much 60. Most things inside of 100 yards is 60 degree. So that's
Yes. So if I'm like I just don't feel comfortable over anything like higher lofted than a 58 from the fairway or a 54, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so I just try and knock it down. If it's 100 and in, I'm definitely taking some off the 54.
Okay.
Um, that being said, I think the next step is for me to get fitted for wedges. I did the Titleist fitting on their website. I didn't really know what I was doing because I'm so consistent with my impact into the ground and what kind of divots I take, right?
Yeah.
And what that pattern looks like. So I think I just need to go maybe like to Lenny's out in Aurora or even just somewhere to get fitted.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
when it comes to fitting, though, I've always had this kind of issue. Like, I feel like you could easily go into a fitting one day with the best swing that you've ever had, get
mhm,
fitted to something, and then the majority of the time that you're playing, it's not going to perform as well as it did that one day when you were swinging it so pure. Um,
right.
or like the opposite, where you go in and you can't hit a ball to save your life, and then you get fitted to these clubs that helped you a little bit, but I don't know. I guess which would you prefer in a fitting? You know what I mean? Would you rather be swinging it bad or swinging it good?
I would say swinging it good,
Okay.
right? Because if I'm swinging it good, that means like I swing it well and swing it good on the course sometimes, right? So that means if I fit it to my maximum swing, my best swings, that hopefully translates to my best swings and like amplifies, the ball flight, the spin, everything that it's supposed to do
Mm,
when I do actually play well on the course.
yeah.
That being said, I think it's a good confidence booster too for myself. Like, oh, okay, these clubs, they're made for me. I can just kind of forget about that, right? Uh,
Yeah.
whether it has a huge impact. I mean, I was probably like my lowest handicap was I think a 9.
Okay.
I was playing quite a bit. I wasn't married. I didn't have a child.
Yeah.
You know, life gets that happens, right? So Um, I'm confident if I could play a lot more, if I could practice even more, and my swing, I definitely could use lessons from somebody who knows how to hit a golf ball better than I do.
Yeah.
Like I think that's probably another next step that I would take, especially with this trip coming up. Like it would be worth it to go get 3, 4 lessons and really figure out driver swing and then um, just being able to strike the ball better and more consistently.
Yeah. Something else for, going from, because we're in Colorado, going from elevation to sea level is something that would definitely help your game while you're out there is just making sure that you're not overspinning the ball, because that just takes off so much distance when you're at sea level. But
Oh, I got them RPMs for days, buddy.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Um, yeah, no, and when I was in Southern Pines area a few years ago, like I told you a few days ago, like I didn't necessarily feel like I lost a lot of distance. I'd also played like when I noticed it, I was like my fourth out of six round, of the week, and I was like actually drawing the ball with my driver, which I do not do.
yeah.
Um, so it's almost like proof, like just play
Yeah.
more, and like you can figure it out.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. And
but yeah, I
like,
get a lot of spin on all my shots.
yeah, yeah, I've seen it, but yeah, I mean, the thing that really, I used to play like kind of like you do. I used to have a big old fade. Everything was super spinny. Like even irons would fall right. But then as I try to figure out how to hit or like shape shots both ways, that's kind of where my game I feel like really changed. Just being able to control spin and flight a little bit more. But that just comes with like crazy amount of reps. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. I mean, when I first saw you take your first like driver swing, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Because like you're very like you're like upright,
yeah,
right? You kind of almost like have your hands are really high and like
yeah,
up in
little,
a way I haven't really seen before. And then you line the ball up on the toe of your club, right?
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the only other person I've seen do that is Eddie, who we mentioned earlier.
Wow.
That yeah, I mean both the +2 handicaps I know address the ball the same way when it comes to where the ball's at in relation to the club face, at least on the driver.
Yeah. And I mean, what my thought process is behind that is like when you're swinging, your body and your muscles are going to stretch. So if you have it at your toe, then you're going to stretch it to the middle of the face. Does that make sense? And you'll still be hitting the inside of the golf ball for a draw. So,
Right.
I mean, if you're swinging it well, but yeah.
Yep.
So
No, I get it. I get it. I want to say I even tried it on a few rounds, and I don't remember which way it went. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So maybe when I go to the range next, I'm gonna give that a go and see just how it works out. So yeah, why don't we talk about what you play and what's in your bag? Your clubs, your putters, your wedges, your driver.
Yeah, I mean, I have kind of, I guess right now I can just start with what I have right now, but I'm going through a few different wedges at the moment. But my putter is a Ping Answer 2. I've had it since I was, I think 17, because it was the first time I beat my dad. He took me into the pro shop. It was like the only putter in there, and he bought it for me. So I've had that ever since.
Because you beat him.
Because I beat him, yeah. It's like
that was your reward for. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I've tried switching putters over the years, and
that's a blade, right? It's a blade putter.
Yeah, it's like a classic look. It looks like the Newport. I'm not familiar with this as much.
But yeah, it's Newport. Yeah.
But yeah, really simple, original grip. I don't like the fat grips. I feel like I lose feel with it. But another thing is, like when I try to switch a putter, because I look at the hole when I putt, it just throws off my feel completely. So I just always go back to my old one.
Yeah, and I mean that's just a rep thing, right? You're just so used to that putter and that putter in your hands. What is your thought process when you're putting and you're just looking at the hole and you're not looking at your ball?
Well, I mean, I still go through, the exact same process. It's probably, I don't know about everyone else, but I still, line up to a spot in front of my ball. I try to make sure my putter face is square. I do, 3 practice strokes, and then I look up and down the line 3 times. And instead of looking back down at my ball, I just stare at the hole and I, pull the trigger. So
on that third time, you're like this 1, 2, 3, and you just stay right there.
Yeah, you just rock the shoulders, feel it. Like I used to have a trigger in my mind, kind of. And I'm sure a lot of people do this too. But when I first started doing it, I would just say, okay, brain, make this putt. Like, because our brains are smarter than we actually know they are. And that was my thought process behind it, was like, okay, just go blank pretty much and let it go in. And it started working. I was a terrible putter before. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 15 to a +2, you don't get to a +2 if you can't make putts, right? So,
yeah, unless you're just throwing darts. But I guess that takes me to my wedges. I'm a big TaylorMade guy. I haven't always been that way. When it comes to wedges, I used to love the Vogeys, but so my current 60 degree is a MG3. It's actually 61 degrees, and I have it 1 degree upright with a mid-sized grip, just the standard golf prides. A lot of guys will try to get like, a heavier shaft, or, try to have it be the same shaft as their irons or things like that. But since I played majority of my golf off of hand-me-down clubs when I was growing up, I just love the feel of a wedge shaft. So I just have the standard stock wedge shafts in all of them. But yeah, the one that I'm kind of going back and forth with is actually the original milled grind from TaylorMade, because I loved that 60 degree. I just like the clean look of it. The face doesn't really change all that much, and you can go to Dick's Sporting Goods and get the exact same wedge anytime you want.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Just keep refreshing it very easily. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially if you play a ton and practice a ton, like it's super nice to have it like that. But from there, I do have a 56 degree in the MG4s right now, but I'm also going back and forth with that on my Vokey SM8. The SM8's just a lot heavier, a lot more bounce, which I kind of like for, hitting shots where I'm in the junk or thick rough, stuff like that. But I definitely have more feel with the less bounced, lighter 56. So I kind of just leave them in my car depending on the course conditions.
Gotcha.
And then 52 degrees, just a TaylorMade. I think it's an MG2. Yeah. And then from there, I actually don't have a pitching wedge right now because I snapped it. But so, yeah.
Get a little passionate on the course or something.
Yeah, we just kind of had some disagreements about where the ball was going to go.
Yeah.
That was the club in hand when that happened. So, but yeah, I play the P730s. They're about as classic of a blade as you can get. They're really tiny. I think you swung them, didn't you? You tried?
Yeah. Tried. Attempted.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the short irons with them. The long irons, I mean, I love every single club in that bag. It's just like the 3-iron kind of feels a little silly at times when I'm not swinging it my best. Like my tendency is to get a little steep, and with blades, if you get steep, it can really hurt your hands. I mean, it can really just throw off a lot of things.
Yeah. Case in point, your wrist that you just had surgery on.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
But yeah, so love the P730s. I think I'm going to get another set, but then probably do like a combo for the 5, 4, 3-iron. Maybe like a P770 or something like that, or those Mizunos if you want to give them to me. We'll see.
Those are gone.
Damn. Okay.
Those are gone.
Yeah. But then from there, yeah, I'm mostly irons. A lot of people have multiple woods. I'd go down to a 3-iron, and then I have a 5-wood, which is what was it? It's the first series of Sim, and I just love it. I can hit that club low, high. I can draw it, make it run forever, or I can make it stop on a dime. It's just, I don't know what it is about the look of it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Does that not match your driver as well? I know we're about to get into it, but aren't you Sim or are you Sim 2 driver?
Well, remember at the club championship at the end of last year, first tee box.
Oh, it broke. Yeah.
Sim 2 exploded. Yeah. First swing of the tournament.
What a start.
I made it 8 holes with a broken driver until the top of it finally came off the crown. So I just put it in the bag and then went to the golf shop right after the first round and then got a TSI 4 while TaylorMade was sending the replacement. And then, I pretty much did a swap. So now I have the TSI 4. I love it. It's something about it. I feel like even when I hit it off center, it still goes the shape that I want it to. And that's a big thing for me. So like if I hit it, off the heel when I'm trying to hit a cut, I won't lose that much distance. While it is still more demanding for you to hit the center of the face compared to a TaylorMade, I absolutely love it. I like the classic black look to it. Yeah.
Yeah. The 4 is like the player's option, right, for the TSI line.
I think so.
I have the TSI 2. And it's definitely got a big old face on it.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
This one's definitely smaller. I would say it's even smaller than the Sim 2 that I had, which was also just the stock Sim 2 Pro model or whatever. But yeah, no, I've been loving it. We'll see if I make a change. But yeah, I feel like I go through drivers more than anything. I don't know why that is. But
yeah. Very nice.
So yeah, that's the bag. And then I got a bunch of shitty balls that I practice with. So
yeah. What ball do you like to play? You're a Titleist guy, right?
No, I actually switched last year to the TB5X. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's softer. I feel like since the Pro V1X has kind of changed, I don't feel like I have the same touch or feel. And then I feel like in the cold weather, it's playing in Colorado, I feel like the TB5X is definitely still softer. And I just like the ball. I can club up, club down. I'm not, shying away from doing that. It's not like I get to 150 yards and I'm just only going to hit my pitching wedge or whatever. I love hitting different
You could
shots.
take a little bit off a 9 if you want to,
Yeah,
and work a shot in there. Yeah,
especially with blades. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to.
right.
Because you just know that you're not going to hit a dead perfect center every single time. I mean, you try to, but playing that way doesn't allow for good scoring. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Very cool. I forgot. I totally skipped over 2 clubs in my bag. My 3-wood that I use maybe 4 times a year, and my 3 hybrid, which I prefer for some reason. So 3-wood is just I got it at like a garage sale or something. It's the M3 3-wood from TaylorMade.
oh,
The last time I hit it, and actively using it around, I actually hit it pretty well. And then the 3 hybrid's even older. It's a Jet Speed TaylorMade that I got for like $5.
nice. I thought you were
My
gonna pull out the bubble. Remember the bubble TaylorMades with the bubble in the center of the shaft?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. My Jack Vader, if you remember him,
Mhm.
he had a bubble shaft, I believe, in a 5-wood, and he would mash the ball with it. It was really funny.
Yeah, I love
But anyways, yeah. So that's what's in the bag for an 11 handicap and a +2 handicap. So, um, why don't we transition to something a little, we'll call it serious, but a little bit more, definitely pro golf related, a hot button topic right now, especially on golf Twitter, um, which I think was triggered, re-triggered by Joaquin Neiman being invited to the Masters,
it.
and that's Live, and the fact that they're not getting the players on Live do not receive, official world golf ranking points. Therefore, they just keep dropping and dropping and dropping in the standings. Um, John, what is your take on Live in general, and then you know the whole idea of this possible merger, possible not? They just took Jon Rahm, arguably like the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Should they get points? Where do you stand on it?
I mean, it's just like the rest of the world. It's definitely been like an evolving emotion around it. But to be honest with you, I have not like gotten sucked into a live event. Has that happened to you yet?
No, I usually find out there's a Live event like at the
On
end of
Sunday?
Saturday
Yeah,
when
Sunday.
they announce the winners.
Yeah,
I it's not on my radar to go out and watch Live golf.
yeah. I couldn't even tell you if they ended on Saturday or Sunday. Honestly,
I
um,
believe they end on Saturday, but I could be wrong.
I
I
think
think it's
that's
Saturday.
yeah,
I think
uh,
it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 times a year, or however often they play.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I I think that it's just becoming like a money grab in a sense. And while it makes a lot of sense, like obviously John Rahm's thinking about his family and stuff like that. He's just got to take the money while he can. And I'm sure Rory's kicking himself for not taking it for whenever they offered him back then. But at the same time, like I respect him for, sticking to his guns for as long as he did,
Mhm.
while all of the people that he thought were going to stay by his side started just dropping like flies. So,
Yeah,
um,
I can appreciate the loyalty that a lot of the guys have shown. The way I look at it, John, when it comes to the money, is like if our employer's competitor called me and was like, "Hey,
yeah,
we're going to give you 20 times the money and
yeah,
you're going to work 30% of the time." I'm like, "Sign me up. I'm in." Like,
yeah,
sold.
yeah. I'll be
Why
there now.
wouldn't that?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's definitely different than golf and being a professional athlete. Uh, but I don't like hold anything against people who have made that decision to go and make $300 million playing 10 rounds of golf or 10 events a year.
yeah. No, and I guess my concern with because I grew up watching golf with my dad, grandpa. My concern is probably what a lot of those guys' concern is too. Is they want to keep the traditions alive. They want to keep
Mhm.
the tournaments classic. They want to not allow music and like a party going on, which we see with the waste management now since Liv has kind of, nudged its nose into the golf world. But even that's getting knocked down next year from what I've seen in the news. So
Mhm.
I think I think as long as the integrity of the majors and big events stays sound, then it's fine. I think that at this point, you kind of just have to let the live guys come back and play because they're some of the most entertaining guys to watch. You know what I mean? like Jon Rahm,
Who
Johnson.
let's say outside of Jon Rahm, who are you like? Oh man, he went to live. Like who's your guy that's like, oh,
I was really
sucks.
bummed when Cam Smith left because
Yeah.
I love watching him putt. It is the purest putting stroke I think I've ever seen in my life, besides Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously on TV, but yeah, I
Right.
mean, and just when he won the Open, I was like, oh God, I think because that's kind of right when it happened, right? And
It was like
uh,
right after I think
beat
he
Rory.
won and then went, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was the 150th when he beat Rory. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, St. Andrews.
and then he went, and that was just kind of like, dang, I don't get to really watch him play 4 days of golf ever again. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, until majors, but yeah, Cam Smith was a big one. Uh, I could care less about Phil, honestly. While I did take a lot of my short game from him growing up, I don't think he's that entertaining to watch anymore. Bryson was kind of a bummer just because you want to see him hit the ball far,
Mm-hmm.
especially as PGA is coming to Colorado this year. And we're not going to get to see a lot of those guys. So,
Yeah, I was excited to see, like you said, Cam Smith and Jon Rahm,
yeah,
play golf. And the live is just so restricted schedule wise. Like, why would they come to Colorado? We're not going to be able to see an event, And so if we want to, we have to go fly somewhere. Whereas PGA is coming here this year for the BMW. Um, Still excited for that. It should be a good tournament. Luckily, it's a playoff, right? It's always been a playoff. It's what, top 60 at that point.
yeah, that's the first tournament of the FedEx Cup.
Yeah. So that's the only other outside of the Waste Management Tuesday that I went to this year. The only other event I went to was like the '07 BMW at Cog Hill,
Yeah,
where Tiger ended up winning. I was standing like 3 feet away from Tiger. I was just jaw dropped. I was 17, 18 years old. Um, and we
were you
just
there on
followed.
Sunday?
Yeah, there on Sunday. It
Wow,
was incredible.
it's insane.
So I was stoked, when they announced they were coming. I'm like, well, Jon Rahm's not going to be there. Cam Smith's not going to be there. I would even say Bryson. I wasn't a huge Brooks fan for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of just like his shit don't stink kind of thing. Didn't vibe well with me. But then I watched that Full Swing on Netflix, and like, oh, he's just a head case. Like he's back and forth in his head on his
Which is
confidence and
relatable.
everything.
Which is
What
really
was that?
which makes him relatable in a lot of sense.
Yes.
Whereas before,
He seemed like way more human and relatable. Exactly.
but before that, he was just really good at golf, and the only thing that he would ever say is he doesn't watch golf. So that's not relatable because most people are bad at golf, but they watch a lot of golf. You know what I mean? So
I will say it was funny because there's like one comment he made like one week. He's like, "Yeah, I don't practice. I just practice for the majors."
yeah,
And then like he was interviewed the next week, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a range rat." I'm like, "So which one is it? Like what are we doing here?" But Full Swing, I actually really enjoyed, and I thought, it was definitely made for people who may not know the ins and outs of golf in general. Like they just kept talking about the cut. Like, okay, we know what the cut line is.
yeah,
But I would say it made Brooks more relatable. I think he's got a sick house. That's in there, right? But the big one for me was like Jon Rahm going. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like, who's next? At this point, it's like, who's next?
yeah, 100%. And yeah, I don't know, just because I loved watching Jon Rahm win, even though who was it? Was it Louis Oosthuizen that he beat at the U.S. Open? No, it was who was he? Who was trailing him when he won his U.S. Open? Do you remember?
I don't.
It
Why
might
don't we
have
look
been.
it up real quick?
I don't know, but yeah, I just remember being so. I don't know. It was pretty cool to see him win, see him walk off, go to his wife and kid, and yeah, it's just kind of a bummer that he's gone now. But
Oh, that was the COVID U.S. Open, right? There was nobody there. Is that right?
no, I think there was people there.
Oh no, the COVID one I'm thinking of, there was nobody there. He made that like 60-foot 3-breaker putt to win on 18 or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. His game is really fun to watch. His swing is insane. Have you ever tried doing like a really shortened backswing like that?
No, I as Tiger would say, I present hosel first when I do that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've tried it, but you just have to like cup your, like do a lot of wrist flexion, like what feels like at your hip, and it
Hmm.
works. But
Yeah, it was Louis. You're right. It was Louis.
yeah, that's what I
John
thought.
Ram. Yeah, at Torrey Pines.
Yeah, and Louis hit one like left on, I think it was 17 or something, and then it was kind of over from there. But Louis swing, that's another one that I was kind of bummed to see leave because I used to work for a private charter company. This was after COVID, and we flew Louis down to the Masters, and he sent us all like a Masters keychain at the office, and I thought that was pretty cool of him. But
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, he
yeah,
has
so
one of the most famous shots at the Masters tournament in the history of golf with that too on the par five.
yeah, that's insane. And his swing is just,
Yeah.
oh God! If you watch Louis swing for an hour, then you go play golf, your tempo will be better. I guarantee it.
You just essentially swing it like Louis Oosthuizen is what you're saying. So I'm gonna when I go to bed tonight, I'm just gonna have Louis Oosthuizen swing playing on repeat. Next to
Yeah,
me. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna watch it. Um, that
yeah.
sounds like a good training plan to me, dude.
I mean, yeah, just watch a repeat of it. His tempo is unbelievable. It's just simple, but yeah,
So let's answer the question. Should and I don't know what it seems like all the requirements have been met as far as I know with the what the OWGR wants for a league and in a tour to have to earn points. But it just seems like they're just not allowing live. I think at this point, my take on it is that a merger of some sort is going to happen. The PGA Tour is working with the PIF and their investment firm for the PGA Tour. They're all working together to come to some sort of agreement. I have no idea what the merger or anything like that's going to look like. But my guess is they're waiting to see what happens. In that they're just going to say, you know what, you left the PGA Tour to go make your money. You have to pay the price of what you knew what was going to happen until this is figured out.
yeah. And I mean, I feel like they're just pushing to get the OWGR points done quicker. But at the same time, like when they signed these contracts, they knew that this was going to happen. Like they knew that they weren't going to be able to play in certain events. Especially like the most recent guys, like they know what the law is here. Like with the PGA
Yeah,
Tour, like,
John Rahm has seen 10 other guys beaten, not earn points for a full almost 2 seasons of live golf, right?
yeah,
Like he knew what he was getting into. But I also don't see him making a big noise about it. It's really Bryson that I've seen on like golf Twitter. He's like,
yeah,
oh, we meet every requirement. They're just not giving us points. Like, well, you kind of made your own bed because you knew what the deal was when you left.
exactly. And I don't know. I think that eventually it's going to happen. I don't think that they should, honestly. Um, at this time, just given the climate of the situation. Obviously, once a merger happens, yeah, might as well because I mean they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
playing on both tours. But I think that the PGA Tour made it pretty clear. I know that OWGR is a separate entity, but no, yeah, I definitely don't think that they should get them at least for this year. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen next year. I guarantee we'll hear all about it on the Full Swing series on Netflix. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that. A couple weeks from now, 3 weeks,
yeah,
I think, new season. So
yeah.
I would say when it comes to live golf, I'm most excited to see what sort of merger or agreement happens between the two entities, what that looks like. Uh, it's funny that Rory said, yeah, they should just be able to come back, and then a lot of players are saying, no, they've got to do something to earn back onto this tour. Like everyone else, there's so many people
Yeah,
trying to make it to the tour. You don't just get to leave and come back.
like if you think about it, the guys who are like fighting to make the top 100, 150, top 125, get their card. Like if they rule that they can just come back, that list drops significant. They're going to drop off the list because
Mm-hmm.
these other players are just obviously better than them. So
Yeah, well, coming back with no repercussion, no, like almost like nothing happened. They left. They got paid $300 million. Now
yeah,
they just get to come back like all's good. Yeah, I don't. That doesn't sit well with me. I think there should definitely be some earning and some like
yeah,
recourse for them to come back. So
I don't know if like I mean obviously for major winners they get full exemption into the rest of the
yeah,
tournament. Masters,
of course.
but like the other tournaments that, some of these guys have won over the years, like maybe the way that they do it is they have to go and Monday qualify again, or they have to go and, re-qualify to play in that tournament or something like that. Obviously there's a lot more to it, but.
Well, I want to say a lot of them have like won the players or something, or have qualified. So like I think when you win the players, you get 2 years and that's it.
Yeah.
So Cam Smith is running out. I think he's the last one probably went to lift that won it. Like he can't even go play the players, and that's the tournament he's won. But no, I think it would be great to go see him Monday qualify. Then again, like these guys are at the top of the top. They've made it there before. I think they'll make it there again. Yeah. Maybe Phil wouldn't, he's up there in age, he is the oldest guy to win a major though at Kiowa. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to transition. We're going to do a little bit more, just I'll say lighthearted, less serious, more for the, the Sunday golfer, the weekenders, the people, out there every day, just trying to get a little better. We're going to start with some dumb golf rules. Okay. This is something that I've seen on Twitter as well, especially today. It's funny that we do this podcast today because all I see on golf Twitter is like, okay, you're playing a $5 match with your buddy, and he rolls his drive rolls into a fixed divot. So there's whatever the seed. It's laying on top. It's not like in the divot. Do you let him pick up? Do you let him move? So the overall question here is, how do you feel about the rule that you have to play it out of the divot?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the dumbest rule in golf.
Dumbest.
If you're in the fairway, it should be, not live clean in place, obviously, but if you're in the fairway and you're in a divot, why do you get punished for doing what you're supposed to do? At the same time, that's golf. So I definitely see both sides, but I would definitely, vote against it. That's the dumbest rule that I've ever seen.
What would you propose be like the relief rule? Like a grip length, club length, scorecard length, you just got to go backwards out of it, straight out.
Yeah, no closer to the hole, club length, just a normal drop situation, like not too club
drop.
Length. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Club length and a drop. Got it. I tend to agree. It's funny because like when I'm on the range, whether it's before a round or whatever, I'm like, let me see how this goes after I just, if I hit it out of this divot. Very rarely does it go well. I'll say that. I'm 11 handicap. I wasn't expecting to be a pure ball striker out of a divot. And I get both sides of it too. Like, especially in pro tournaments. Yeah. It's like these guys are the best. They're the best of the best. Like if anyone can do it, it's them. And I understand that. But John, if you and I are, at Common Ground on a Saturday and we've had 6 White Claws, and I'm like, John, I'm pulling this out of this divot. I'm just going to roll it over to the left side of it. I'm not going to go like 40 yards up in the fairway.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not hitting out of this. Like, I'm trying to have fun.
Exactly. That's not fair.
I also don't play very many money games because I am an 11 handicap. Unless they're handicapped, games and matches and whatever, then I'll throw a couple bucks. But I tend to agree. I'm like, let's just let them scorecard length, club length, no close to the hole.
Yeah.
Half the tournaments the PGA Tour has played this year have been lift clean in place anyways.
Yeah, true. So,
they've had wet conditions, which I kind of like talking about that. It's like, once again, these guys are the best of the best. Like, why are we letting them just lift clean and place their ball every shot?
Yeah. That's just kind of, it leaves for a lot of low scoring, which is entertaining, but yeah, in a men's club event, like in any club, because of that rule, they have to play it out of there. While, if the conditions are just a little, wet or whatever, then the tour guys, they just get lifted in place.
Yeah,
it depends on each place, but also one thing to think about is I feel like that rule would have a lot more impact on the tour because they do all aim to like the same spot in the fairway. Like they have a lot of spots that are in the fairway with a lot of divots, a lot of pitch marks, a lot of, whatever, just because that's where a lot of the balls collect or where the course management takes them. So
yeah. And the last 5 groups out have had 40 groups before them, all 2-3 people just hammering to the same place they want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm surprised. Like, and maybe it does happen more often. They just don't show the shots anymore because people complain, like, why are they hitting out of these divots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all hitting. Their strategy isn't too far off
Yeah.
from each other, so they're all aiming at the same spot. That's a good point. So,
Mhm.
is there any other golf rules that you feel passionate about, like the divot rule?
Um, hmm. I would say, what do you think about that rule in scrambles where if someone, like it was a controversy on the Foreplay Guys podcast, where,
At the Ryder Cup, where it was
yeah,
a gimme, but then he putted it and missed it or something, or
like they finished out, but they still had another guy putting, and then he made it afterwards, but they said, no, you already hold out. You have 4 instead of a 3.
what is what in your experience? What is the rule?
The official
That
rule is as soon as the ball goes in the hole, that's your score. So
that's it.
even if it's an inch away, you need to mark it. And then once everyone is gone, then you put it in. But
So can the opposing team say, hey, you're in for 5? Say you're on a par 5, you have a birdie putt. I'm first. I putt it and it's an inch away, and they say, hey, that's good.
yeah, I mean, you
They
would
can
just
can they do that?
Yeah, they can.
But you still have a birdie putt to hit.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's 2-man and they say that's good, as long as you don't put it into the hole, I mean,
The
then I
whole
would still be putting for birdie, and I would just not need to blow it by, and hopefully we have another putt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the same thing, is it not? Like, okay, I putted in the hole from an inch away. It's the same end result as somebody giving it to me before you putt.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
It's I
I see both
I'm
sides.
inclined to lean towards that. It's like, listen, it's
Oh
6 inches. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I tap it in, I don't think, if the official rule is, well, that's your score, then they don't even get the putt. I don't buy into that. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. And that's kind of what I was getting at. Is I know the official rule, but I definitely don't think that it should be, you know, enforced like that.
Because what's crazy is that happens like almost every hole.
Oh, all the time.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like, you most of the time, if especially if a 4-man scramble,
yeah.
you
Or a
you
four.
have somebody putting it close to the hole before the last putter.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
Yeah,
all right, yeah, no, I tend to agree. I will say too, with the scorecard issue that Jordan Spieth had at the Genesis, how he got DQ'd.
yeah. But
I can understand for the integrity of the tournament, protecting the field, all of that. I get it.
mm,
Why haven't we kind of adjusted the scorekeeping in general with the amount of cameras, the amount of people? They have an official scorer walking with them now. I volunteered. I was a standard bearer before. Like, there's people there counting every shot, trying to guess every club if they can't figure it out, like what they're hitting. Like, we have everything. Like,
yeah,
why not just, why haven't we shifted to where if Jordan Spieth's got to run out because he's going to poop himself,
yeah,
that he's DQ'd? Like, why can't we have a little more, I'll say, grace, in a sense of, hey, like, you actually got this because somebody else wrote down the wrong score. He
but
didn't
he
write down
signed.
the wrong score.
Yeah,
He signed it. I get that.
it was his card.
Ultimate.
It
What
was
was
his
that?
own card. It was his own card. It wasn't someone else's card, like the one that he was keeping, and then he wrote down the wrong score on mistake.
The way I read it, it was that I think it was Tom Kim was keeping Jordan Spieth's official score.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
you exchange cards, and that Jordan signed it, ran to the crapper, and when he came back, he found out he was DQ'd because it was a 3 and not a 4. It was on the long par 4 or
Yeah.
long par 3.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I definitely think it's kind of silly, but at the same time, like, I don't think that, them keeping each other's score should go away, because that's kind of the beauty of golf is, like, anybody can go out and play around or play in a tournament or whatever. And it's the exact same thing as what the pros will go through, in a sense, to an extent. Like, keeping score, keeping track of your other players in a tournament setting is definitely something to factor in that you don't really think about, like when you're playing just a casual round with your buddies. Like, definitely making sure that it's correct is a big thing, but Um, like if
Yeah, I could easily, if we're just playing around on Saturday, I could be like, yeah, just put me down for a 5, and I've
yeah,
pumped it 47 times. Whereas,
yeah,
like, if you're in a tournament setting and you're like, I have to make sure that every shot is counted. I don't move this ball at any point in time illegally. Yeah, I get the detail is there. I don't necessarily like. I like the idea of them keeping the other, the partner score. Like I would
mhm.
keep yours, you keep mine. It just seems like there could be a little.
There could be a little leeway.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, and Jordan owned up to it, right? He's like, yeah, ultimately, it's my fault,
yeah,
right? But I don't know. It just seemed it killed the event. I mean, Tiger withdrawing and Jordan Spieth getting
yeah,
DQ, like nobody cared about it.
yeah.
Luckily, Hideki kind of saved it on Sunday when he went 9 under.
10. You didn't
And
shoot 10? Yeah.
no, it was par 71. And he
Oh
shot a
yeah, yeah.
62.
You're right. Yeah.
In like three of his last or two of the last three holes, he like did his one-handed finish. I hate this shot, and it ended up within like 8 inches of the hole, and he had tap in for birdie.
I forget who. I think it's Wesley Bryan. He it was like a video on YouTube or something, and he goes, when anytime I'm struggling with tempo, all I do is decky, and then it gets it back tempo. And it's if you try it, it actually works. It's crazy, but yeah,
Deck. Okay, that's funny.
his
That is funny.
Hideki swing is really good. But yeah, that's kind of silly that Jordan gets DQ'd for that. Um, but at the same time, he knows the rules.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it just seems like there could be just a shift of something to where that doesn't happen again, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, we're coming up on time here pretty quick. I'm trying to pick what we want to talk about. And I think the superstition thing is going to connect with a lot of people because we all have our little quirks, things that we don't tell anybody, right?
Mhm.
But like we don't do it differently. We do it the same way every time we go out and play golf.
Yeah. What's your
What
number
is
one? What's your number one?
I think my number one is it's not really a superstition, but I keep my ball marker, tee, and
You divot tool.
I don't use it very often, but the pitch mark tool, right?
Oh
Uh,
Jesus, you're that guy.
yeah, in my left pocket. Like
Okay.
if it's not in my left pocket, like the world is ending. Um, I take my glove off so I can when I'm getting those things, my glove is off, so there's no problem there.
Yeah.
And I also I I get a Gatorade every time I play golf. Like no matter what temperature it is,
Yeah.
like I at some
No.
point in the 18 holes, I say, okay, I have to have a Gatorade.
Yeah. I mean, I have the exact same one. If I'm playing in a a little bit more serious round, um, it has to be orange. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
orange is my go-to. Orange is my go-to.
Me too. Yeah.
So
I mean, but
it's
like any
like,
other round, it's just like, yeah, I just need a Gatorade so I don't, get a fucking headache for, being
yeah,
tired.
because you've been
Yeah.
chugging Michelob Ultras, on the other
Yeah.
holes. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's funny because yeah, that's one of my big ones. Is I always have to have a Gatorade, and I usually have one per nine, actually. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, in the summer, like it's easy to just say, yeah, I've already had 4 Gatorades, and we're just now making the turn because it's so hot and dry out here. You just get dehydrated quickly.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Um, any other ones that you got? I have a ton. So,
I I don't think so. Um, nothing that's sticking out to me is like you have to do this every time you go. Um, that I would call superstition. No. What else do you have?
um, so yeah, I this is definitely going to be controversial, especially for summer golfers. But I always wear two pairs of socks. I have
Two pairs of socks.
Well, like I wear ankle socks underneath my long socks when I'm wearing pants. But yeah, if I'm wearing like my FootJoy socks that kind of have the back padding, then I have to have another pair of ankle socks underneath too.
Why?
I don't know. It's
Is
just
it
like,
just a comfort thing?
yeah, like I did it when I used to play hockey because my skates were too big, but I couldn't afford new ones. So
So you
like,
just pack your foot in there and with socks and it fits.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like a comfort thing. I feel more stable. I feel like my feet never slide around. But yeah, I always have to wear two socks, and they have to be
I'm going
matching
to.
underneath.
They got a what?
They have to be matching underneath, but the socks on top, like the second layer of sock, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they
So the
match.
socks that people will see, it doesn't matter if they match or
Yeah,
not.
it's the
Got it.
dumbest thing. Yeah,
Makes no sense. I'm gonna make a call here for the people in the comments to let us know how we feel about the two sock
yeah.
superstition here.
Let me have it.
Also, let us know what your superstitions are.
Yeah,
That's that's one I've never heard. Like
yeah,
especially in Colorado, like it gets hot and dry or hot and like not great out here, right? So my feet are drenched, sweating. After playing 18 holes, I have
yeah.
like the thinnest golf socks you could find. So
So
I
yeah,
can't imagine having two pairs.
yeah. That's can't do that. I would say
That's
another one of mine is um, I always twirl my putter 3 times before I putt as well. I have 3 things that I do 3 times in my putting routine, which is I look at the cup, we'll look down the line 3 times. I do
right.
3 practice strokes. Then another one is like as I'm approaching the putt, I spin the putter in my hand 3 times.
So you're behind the ball, and as you're coming up to do those next three items, you're addressing the ball. You're spinning it one handed
Yeah.
in your right hand.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why, but if I don't do that, I feel like I'm not going to make the putt.
All the best golfers that I know, like that aren't like pros and I play with personally, they all have routine.
Hmm.
It's a huge part of it that I have probably yet to develop a strict routine, and that's probably just what it is, right? You've done it, you like the way it feels, and it's worked.
Yeah, exactly. And creatures of habit, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All right,
just takes.
weird superstition there with the socks, John. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, no, I had to bring something controversial. I want to hear what people have to say. So.
Yeah, I'm interested to know what the comments got to say about the socks. Um, let's do this. Let's go to our dream golf trip. If you, John, could choose, let's just say, you and your foursome of your choosing, you and three others. What does your dream golf trip look like? Where do you go? What courses are you playing? Are you going to resorts? Are you going to a certain area of the country to hit um, a few different excuse me, courses? What does it look like?
I mean, I feel like that's going to change within the next year or so because of rodeo dunes that's being built out here. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say I definitely want to go to Bandon or Coeur d'Alene. Uh, Coeur d'Alene for obvious reasons. You just got to go see the island green, the floating green. Um, but yeah, Bandon I've heard is just all immersive golf, and that's kind of, I mean, from what I've told you about my practice and my addiction to just playing all the time, I would just love to be there. So I'd have to say Bandon for sure.
Bannon, yeah. I'm right there with you. You know, I when it's probably been like the last, let's say, 3 years where I'm like, oh yeah, Bandon looks kind of sick.
Yeah,
I've never been much of a golf trip guy. I've always just like, okay, this is where I live. This is where I play golf.
yeah,
Working where we work in the position that I'm in, I travel. So
mm,
it's like, oh, sick. I'm gonna go travel, see some clients, and now I'm gonna go play some golf before I head to the next stop,
mm,
which was great last year. A few of my friends that I've met just through the industry, through whether it's online, groups, golf groups, have really opened up to the ability to travel while playing. But that being said, and I'm coming from a position where I just won a dream golf trip, right? That all expenses paid to Pinehurst that we're making happen this year.
yeah,
Pinehurst wasn't even probably a number one. It's probably Bandon.
yeah. And which is funny because it's not even a tour course. Like the tour never goes there. You'd think like our choices would be, okay, I want to go play, TPC Scottsdale or TPC Sawgrass or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
like I look at those courses and it's like that doesn't look like, well, besides Scottsdale doesn't look as challenging, but Sawgrass, that doesn't look like a fun day of golf coming from Denver. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like it's an exclusive private club.
Yeah.
but it's not exclusive, if that makes sense. Like you can go and get on Sawgrass.
Yeah.
You could pay a pretty penny for it, but you can go play it.
Yeah.
Like Bandon is one of those that's booked out. You know, you're waiting what 12, 16 months to play,
Oh yeah. And just
and
the
then
trip to
you
get there. Yeah.
no carts, no carts. You're walking. They got what 5, 6 courses. You mentioned earlier, Rodeo Dunes is going to be incredible. It's same people who did Bandon, if I understand that situation correct. Like
Yeah.
we're going to be
Spoiled.
spoiled out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and it's going to be great. I think there's going to be up to 10 courses. Somebody said at
Yeah.
Rodeo Dunes eventually.
I think the first one opens this year, doesn't it?
I saw 2025, but maybe it's
Yeah.
worth looking into. Where I'm excited. It's gonna be nice to have that level of golf close and like, I'm part of a Facebook group that does a lot of, we'll say, events.
Okay.
It's gonna be nice to be like plan that for the group. Be like Rodeo Dunes, like we're making it happen.
Yeah.
Just the renderings and like the photos I see on Instagram for it, it just looks awesome. And it's like not even. It's just like a piece of land, right? But you can just tell it's gonna be great.
Have you played TPC Colorado?
Twice.
Did you play the tips?
God no. I would make it to the fair. I would make it to the fairway on that par 5. That's 775-yard par 5. I wouldn't make it to the fairway.
See, I still need to play.
I tried it and I just hit my spinny fade and I think I barely squeaked onto it.
Yeah. I feel like if you play a course like that, where that's what it's known for, I feel like you got to play from the tips, even if it sucks. But
I think I just made my own combo. So I played it because I volunteered at the event, the Corn Ferry event.
okay.
I was a standard bearer there. And they're like, okay, you can play it once in the winter, and then like once like in the warmer months, right? So
Mhm.
I played it by myself in the winter. It was freezing. I had jeans on underneath. I forget how I had it set up. I had like jeans underneath my golf pants because like jeans are a little thicker. Thought it was gonna be warmer. It was a shit show.
Yeah. Wait, real quick. Go ahead and rip him in the comments for wearing jeans on the golf course.
They weren't visible. Okay.
Yeah.
I had other pants on over them. But I'm like, I gotta be warm because I'm not canceling this round. I want to go play.
Yeah.
Right. Winter Golf Colorado, you got to make it happen when you can. I actually played really well at TPC Colorado the first time. It was freezing. I think I shot like 85, but I played up. That first par 3, where it kind of jets out into the water. It's got the big hole in the middle of the big ramp. The pin was just like up close to the water on the left side. I put it to like 5 feet with my 7-iron. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest day of golf ever. Made that putt, and I don't think I birdied another hole. But I like TPC. The hole 16 is great. That par 3 where you're in front of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
The views are incredible at that course.
Yeah, it's a really pretty area, and I still need to get up there. But yeah, I've definitely looked at the course guide quite a few times. So yeah, we'll see. But
yeah, a lot of people think TPC. What's the other one? Rain Dance.
Is it Rain Dance?
What is it called? Rain.
I know
There's another kind of.
Yeah.
They think they're gonna get hit hard because of Rodeo Dunes opening. I'm like, I don't know. Like they're still spaced out pretty well, and like just because you're coming like Rodeo Dunes, like a lot of people making these trips can afford to pay for a TPC Colorado round or what have you.
And and I think the appeal of the TPC will still be that the Corn Ferry Tour plays there, like pros play there, like they can watch it on TV, things like that. So
yep.
Whereas rodeo is just going to be like Bandon, it's just travel.
Yeah. I'm excited for rodeo. Gun to your head, you got to pick Bandon Dunes or Bandon Dunes full trip, you and your boys, or you get to play Augusta National, just you. Which one are you choosing?
By myself, no one else is out there. Yeah, Augusta National, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would agree. No, I'd agree. Realistically, there's 0.0001% chance someone like you or I are getting on Augusta National at this point in our life, right?
We'll see. I'm delusional enough. We'll see.
Um, I would love to just go watch, even if it's a practice round. I just love to go on property. I've just heard it's just completely different experience, right?
Yeah.
So
And I've heard that, I mean, you can just, like, the grass is just so much different than anything you've ever seen. Like, it's
that
just,
is what somebody told me too. He's like, dude, when you walk in there and you step on that grass for the first time, it's like it's not real. It's like
yeah.
fake. It's yeah,
And yeah, I need to experience that at least once in my life. So,
yeah, yeah,
um, yeah. So maybe in your Facebook group, you can win us some Masters tickets. I don't care
yeah.
that you didn't bring me to Pinehurst. That's fine. If you get Masters tickets and you don't take me, oh, it's going to be rough. So,
Yeah. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
yeah.
I think the guy that I won the trip from does do like Masters tickets every year, so
Ooh, okay.
we'll go in on them together,
Yeah.
solidify the partnership.
All right. There we go.
All right,
Well,
last topic, kind of going off the dream golf trip. What's your favorite course you've ever played?
um, favorite course I've
And
played.
and not just course, but overall experience. You know how the clubhouse was, service. The caddies if you had them, the golf shop. The apparel offerings, all of it, all inclusive. Like what best experience?
I would have to say, I mean, in Colorado, just based on course alone, it's probably 4 Mile Ranch down in Canyon City. I love that place. They don't even have a
4 Mile
clubhouse.
Ranch.
They don't have a clubhouse. It's still like one of those pop-up mobile home kind of
Mm-hmm.
clubhouses. But the course is just unbelievable. It's a Pete Dye design. There's a bunch of bold greens, blind shots, sick views. Like you can see where El Chapo is in prison from the course, which
Yeah,
is
Florence ATX. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you get the chance, definitely go check that out. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's always like $54. You can always get on. The greens are always in great shape, and it's just a really cool layout. But outside of Colorado, I'd say Sandia Resort down in New Mexico was one of my
what was it
favorites.
called?
Sandia Resort. It's like,
Sandia.
yeah, it's like, I think it's like one of um, the first Indian resorts in when you get into Albuquerque coming from Denver. So
Gotcha.
it's a pretty cool course. Golf staff is super friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Casino right next to it, and they'll pretty much, if you're just nice, they'll let you play as many holes as you want. So
They're like, yeah, just keep going. Like you're
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah. Is it just the one course there?
yeah. They just have one, but then like down the road, there's Twin Warriors, and there's a bunch of really good golf in New Mexico.
Sure.
Me and the guy who caddied for me on the Fairway Tour, me and him used to make a trip out there when he lived in Colorado at least once a year. So yeah,
Hmm.
that place is amazing. But yeah, highly underrated place to travel to play golf is New Mexico.
New Mexico. Good to know.
Yeah.
I was there last year. It was a million degrees in the summer. I did not want to swing a golf club.
No, yeah, it's definitely a winter place to go.
Yeah.
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 So
Very cool.
yeah, what about
Very
you?
cool. I would say, let's say in Colorado, I just love this place. I live close to it. Um, it was just my go-to. I've played well there at Raccoon Creek in Littleton, Colorado.
Yeah, okay.
I
Well,
just listen. It's always, in peaks, like it's always in great condition. They had some construction over the last couple of years that every course goes through that kind of hinders that on some holes. Don't get me wrong; it's not like the perfect place. It just it holds a little special place in my heart. I don't know. I just really like that golf course.
that's fair. Yeah. Um,
They got a great logo too. I'll say.
yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, and I would
The
say
clubhouse is
close
nice. The
set.
clubhouse is really nice too.
Yeah, brand new clubhouse. Brand new clubhouse.
Yeah.
They've got
Great.
the carts where you can connect your phone to for Bluetooth. They got the screens in the carts now. It's nice.
Yeah.
They've got a nice wedding venue too that you could maybe shank your drive in on 10. I've never done that. It's always a fear of mine, but I don't know. I just really enjoy playing that golf course. Number 11, the par 5, dogleg right, is tough. If
Yeah.
you can't get it up around that corner, it's two shot either way.
Yeah.
And if you hit a fade like I do,
It scares you. Whereas
there's
if you hit a draw like I do, then you're scared of just
hitting it
pulling
into the range.
being in the range. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
I don't. It's a good course. The back nine's definitely harder than the front.
Yeah.
Um, but I've had some really just nice low 80 rounds there that I've taken with me, and just I typically play that course pretty well compared to others.
Yeah.
I was going to say Common Ground's probably a close second to mine. It's always in good condition.
Yeah.
I think it's Fazio, right, who designed that, and I think they've had some
It's home of the
U.S.
CGA, right? Yeah.
Yeah, home of the CGA. I want to say that was it Justin Thomas who won in the amateur there. Somebody big won the amateur there when they had it in the early 2000s. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Sure.
I'm wrong. Either way, I'm excited to see what their club. It looks like they just kind of revamped the existing clubhouse and necessarily do a teardown.
Mm.
But that course is fun too. It's just a fun course. It's usually well kept. Great green complexes. Not one looks like the other.
Really big greens. Big greens.
Yeah, big greens. Yep. For the most part, there's a couple smaller ones, but I do like that first green's just always fun to me because it's got a slope right in the middle. So you're like, oh, the flag's in the middle, and it's like, no, it's like 20 yards in the back from where you thought it was.
Exactly. Have you ever played it close to the U.S. Open qualifier?
Have I ever played in that?
No, played it close to when that is. So I know you haven't.
No.
It's night and day. So much more hard. Like so much more difficult. Yeah, like hitting the fairway.
It's rough growing out a little bit. Greens are rolling faster.
All that tall stuff that's literally everywhere just comes into play so much more.
Oh yeah. I'm in that crap a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is, in the winter, it's fine here because you can just get through.
They chop it all down. Yeah, they chop it all down or it dies out. Yeah.
But yeah, end of summer or midsummer when that's about to happen, they get it all grown up. Greens are fast and firm. That place is at least 5 shots harder, in my opinion.
We'll have to go out there this summer then.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this. My favorite course outside of Colorado, overall experience, Trinity Forest in Dallas. Jordan Spieth got a locker there. George W. Bush got a locker there. When we were there, we saw DeMarcus Ware in the clubhouse, a few Corn Ferry guys. The clubhouse is sick. That was my first, caddy experience, having a caddy. My buddy and I walked 36 in a day there. Yeah, I was tired. But
you tipped that caddy.
Yeah, we did, of course.
Okay.
Their logo's nice. It's just an overall great facility. And
you're big on the logo, huh?
I'm a logo guy, I'll say that. But the clubhouse offering overall was great. Different brands of shirts, hats, all that. I'm a big guy. The 2 X's were a little lacking, but we made it work. Okay. Got a couple shirts. If you see that right above my shoulder here, that's a scorecard or yardage book cover, Trinity Forest, and then the hat above it as well. Nice. And then that map is actually Trinity Forest too. Wow. So, big fan of that place. My buddy and I, who we went with, try and make it an annual trip to walk 36, and then whether that's same day or not, probably gonna be the same day, but then play some more golf around Dallas at some point. So,
yeah, no, I love the Dallas area. I definitely need to go out there and try that too, or try that course out. So, yeah, played a bunch down there.
Yeah, it was after our annual conference. I drove up to Dallas from Austin and.
Oh, really?
Played today and then flew back the next morning. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
cool.
You get the itch in January, don't you? I mean, we have to. It's
tough. I mean, my birthday's in January, and like I do everything possible to get on the course on January 31st. It's like, and then like once you take that first tee shot, whether you had to hammer your tee into the ground or not, like you're like, okay, I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be another month before I go out, which is what's going to happen, but that's all right. Yeah. Perfect. Well, Jon, thank you for coming up on the podcast here.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, hopefully I don't get eaten alive too much in the comments for some of the stuff, but hopefully I can come back.
I'm excited to see the socks thing. I really am.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like you need controversy on this though, and
you do.
Yeah, so I can provide you with a lot of that. So,
you're a needle mover, Jon, is what I'm hearing. You move the needle.
Yeah, maybe I'll set a trend and you'll start seeing some really sweaty feet out on the course this year.
Yeah, I saw this guy on this podcast wore 2 socks, and I started doing it.
Yeah.
Shooting in the
15 to a
70s now.
+2. Yeah.
Yeah, 15 to a +2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, make sure you're going on Twitter, X, Great Bogey Pod. We've got the Great Bogey Podcast on YouTube, which is where we mainly upload right now. Jon, thank you again, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right. See ya.